G'day guys, my name's Josh. You can call me JaWoodle, and welcome back to 7 Days to Die in Alpha 18, where I am back in JaWoodle Park 2 to do a bit more building and a bit more testing and showcase to you guys a couple more ideas that I've got that I'm actually pretty excited about. And today is something pretty special because it's building off some of the things we've been leading up to. We've done a lot of sort of testing and building and discoveries so far in the new Alpha, and this is kind of following on from that. And I reckon it's something that's going to be super useful, especially for kind of like mid-game level players. Like, not when you're like, at the end of your game where you've got every resource known to man, you're living in a gigantic castle that used to be a mountain, and you're just like the lord of the zombie apocalypse. Not when you're there, and not when you're just starting out, but kind of in that middle period, the kind of hardest time when you're trying to build something big and safe, but you haven't really got all the necessary stuff to do it. So that's what I think is going to be the best implementation of this current idea in whichever form is going to work best for you. But before I go out there and build whatever I've got rolling around inside my head today, we have to go, as always, into the Hall of Legends and thank another couple of legends for making all of this possible. And today, we are thanking Jono B, as no one says Jonathan, but Jono, old mate Jono, and Mikey Boy. Thank you guys for all your support. But as always, when there's only two names, that is because we have to go to the MVP Tower, the nicer area of the Hall of Legends, because it is absolutely a class system. There is absolutely classes and tiers to this, because why wouldn't there be in the nice, well-lit purple and black room that is, the Hall of Legends. I seem to have made some, this is a little bit broken in here. I'll show you why that's broken in a second, but we need to quickly go up here and say thank you to Lesby Friends and not her boyfriend. I was very specifically told not to include the boyfriend up there because, hey, he has to go get his own sign. You can't just leech off someone else. Look at that. There's a sign right there for you, just waiting for you, ready for you to plaster your name off it. In fact, you know what? If you really want to, if you really want to show her up, if you want to get your revenge for her not letting you on her sign, you can come up here and you can take this sign, the big sign on top overlooking everything. That's all yours, buddy. It's all yours for the taking. Just gotta nut up and put in your credit card details. I'm just razzing. So the wall was broken because so many patrons have jumped on board to be a part of this, which is absolutely super awesome, and I'm very thankful for that I've had to start doing some renovations to the Hall of Legends. I've started building an extra wing on the other side, so it's a bit of a construction zone at the moment. It'll take a long time to build that, so I've just kind of started it and I'll come back to it later, and I've accidentally punched a hole in the wall, which is a little bit silly. But there you go, Hall of Legends done, and extending out into the wilderness as well. It's gonna be a pretty big little complex, plex, if I could talk properly by the end of that. Alright, let's go find a place to start building. Let's go find a place to start getting some shit done. So rather than build it on like the perfectly flat terrain that I build some of the tester bases on, I'm gonna build it just out here, just a little bit, because that seems a little bit more like a natural terrain out here, and I want to see if this works on like a proper base, not something that's so controlled and like nice and sterile. I want to see if I can actually get it to work properly on a regular kind of base. So just out here, I'll make myself a nice little cabin. I mean, sure, I'm building this out of nice strong blocks, but it won't be as big and as luxurious as sometimes I often build. What have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go, all the way to there, and that should make it a nice perfect square, because that's all I want it to be. You've got like your basic starter house, you're starting to build something bigger, so we need something that's going to work for that kind of situation. There we go, that ought to do it. I mean, it's not really big or spectacular at all, it's actually pretty small. If you're building something like this, then I mean, you're not going to survive the horde night as is anyway. They'll tear through this thing in about 5 seconds, which, I mean, maybe you want to live here. This might be your house rather than your horde base. Got something big and spectacular over here that you can fight off several thousand zombies in without breaking a sweat. You might want to kind of live over here in a nice little cozy little cottage, and that's fine. That's what you want to do. But you're probably going to want to have some windows. You don't want to live in a 1x1 box. You don't want to be in here in a dark cave waiting for the day when you can go back outside again. You want to look outside and see the apocalypse that you're living. You want to be a part of this world and not just living underground like a little dwarf or something. But you have something like that, the worst thing that can possibly happen to you when you're in your home base and not your horde base, well, I mean, there's two really bad things. One of them is a wandering horde. That's usually pretty bad, but they can be kind of circumvented by putting up some decent walls and some windows, and then having a force field around it. Got a force field, the wandering horde won't mess with you at all. But the worst thing that can happen to is a scout horde. A screamer zombie can show up, and especially in Alpha 18, given that like the heat map is super sensitive now, and screamer zombies show up all the time. Screamer zombie shows up, they see you in here, they won't be fooled by a force field. They will dig their way through it because they are coming to the point or the source of the heat map. So they will try and break their way through whatever way necessary, and they will call in a horde, and you will have a really bad time. So we need to find a way to protect a miserable little cottage like this from a screamer horde without putting in too much work. And that's kind of where my idea comes in. Now this is like this is the first version of it. This is the smaller version of it. I've got a bigger one in my brain, which I think is the one that I'll probably use in my bases. But first I need to show you guys how it works, how you can use it, and then we can expand on top of it. So here's how it's going to work. And I've actually already had a bit of a stick jammed into my spokes already with this, because I actually thought with the new powered doors that you can get in Alpha 18 that there were more options for powered doors than just the vault doors. Now they're actually pretty expensive going into it. I mean, maybe mid-game, I mean, I said it was mid-game going into late game, I suppose, so you probably should have most of these parts ready. They're not actually as expensive as they used to be. Like 54 forged steel, not that bad, all things considered. I mean, if you're at the point now, like in my mind, this is the point where you've got like 4 furnaces running and you're making concrete, and everything's going, a bunch of heat map going on, so you probably will have the materials to do this. But the main thing that kind of threw off my plan is that the vault doors don't, and like regular doors as well now, don't have the advanced rotation ability anymore. So even like back in Alpha 17, when I built my big JaWoodle Farms barn, I had the doors on the side as shutters for it. And that's kind of what I wanted to do here, but you can no longer rotate the doors around. So now, the only way to do that is going to be with the hatches. So they're still like almost just as expensive. In fact, they are almost exactly as expensive. Oh no, a little bit more cheap on the spring side. Oh no, 91836 and 9. So okay, they're exactly as expensive as vault doors for half of the coverage. That's kind of bullshit, game. It's kind of annoying. But if we get that and we go like this, we can put it kind of on top of the windows and give them some nice like proper shutters to keep us safe from anything cruising around. Now clearly you want this to happen when a screamer is nearby, because we're trying to stop the screamer from seeing in the windows, seeing us, and calling in the screamer horde. But to get them to actually go up on the side there, we're going to need either a sheet or a plate. Now you can choose whichever one you like. I'm actually going to go and get myself one of these new blocks, the very narrowest, tippest thing we can find, because then, you know, I can actually get that to kind of just like loop up a little bit and give it a more obvious way for the hatches to kind of cling onto, just like that. In fact, if I go all the way around like this, give myself a nice little like, not alcove, what's a cornice. Give myself a nice little cornice around the roof, just like that. That might look pretty cool, I think. There we go, just like that. And because I actually really like the look of like this little mushroom hut going on here, I'm gonna go the same thing on the underside, just to make it look a little bit more real. In fact, what other options do I have in the narrow? Do I have any corner pieces? It doesn't look like I do. So maybe even like wedge tips would be better, because then you can actually like, oh, actually, you know what? I'm gonna do it. I was gonna use the new narrow blocks, whatever. We'll get rid of all those. The hatches will fall into the ground. But if we get the wedge tips, let's go back to stainless steel, get ourselves some of, where are they? There. If we use those ones instead, then that's going to mean that we can actually, like, you know, round it on each side and make it a little bit more like a bunker. It's giving me super like World War II bunker vibes, so I feel like I'm going to lean into that a little bit and make it look just a little bit better like that. So look how much thicker they are compared to like the narrows. The narrows were only a quarter of a block tall. These are a half. These look super thick with like 4 seats. You know, just quietly, this bunker actually looks really cool. This could be a really cool place to try and fight off a horde. Like, rather than using pathing stuff, oh shit, I'm right up in the sky, which is a bit interesting. Rather than using pathing and things and like, exploiting how the zombies think to better fight them, I feel like something like this is a more like traditional kind of zombie defense method. If you had like 4 friends, well 3 friends even, if you had 80 friends, it's a concept I'm so unfamiliar with, I can't even keep track of it anymore. But if you and 3 other people were in here, you could take one side each, switch and just like sit in there and pepper all the zombies as they like came at you in wave after wave. That could be like with some spikes on the outside. That could be a really cool little horde base. I need to think of a name for this. Maybe like the turtle bunker. I don't know why it's a turtle bunker. It's like all like shapy, like a turtle shell, a turtle shell even, or a tortoise. Got those two words mixed up. So that is going to be, I'm going to name that the turtle bunker, and I might even come through and give that a crack on like a pretty big horde by myself at some point, and see if you can actually like take on like in a traditional sense a zombie horde rather than using these kind of exploits as people seem to call it. They're really like cheesing the horde, finding it tooth and nail, just like they were like coming up over the hills like that. That's a pretty cool little base. But now that that's kind of built, I need to finish off putting in the hatches. Which way are you facing? I need to have you with the hinge at the top all the way across there. Now I am going to need to get some power in here to get this to run properly. Hinge at the top just there, and on the wedge tips on the outside. Look at that. Perfectly secure. That's wicked. What a cool little base I accidentally make. I love it. So what we're going to do, because there's 4 obvious sides, I'm going to go like this. I'm going to wire up all of these to each other like that, just like there. I've hidden all the rest of the wires under the floor down here. I really need to invest in one of those invisible wiring mods. They look really cool. I should really get on that at some point, but not right now. I don't have it right now, so I can't use it right now. Wire up to there as well, get all this going. So when you want to open up either side, in fact I did that the wrong way, you go, no, come back to there to there. There we go. Right, so you still have your windows. I mean, look, you take up some of the view by the fact you've got this big bulky frame right in the middle there, but that's a problem for a later day. Well, like there, look at that, you can have that, and as soon as the screamer shows up, you just go boom, and you close the doors, and then you're nice and safe and secure. But that's where, like, the different kind of sensors and things we have actually comes in really handy, because instead of having a manual switch to open and close that, which you could do, you can get yourself a motion sensor, right? We're going to go up to the top here. I'll just kind of build it roughly right now so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. And if you bang that up there, we're going to change you to get triggered not by people, but by zombies and enemies. And we wire that to all of the stuff. So we're going to go down here, we get some power, like you. In fact, can I... Or maybe I should just test it actually. Can I go from the switch up to there, and from there down to these things? Because hopefully... Now it closes them down. Okay. Well, that means... Oh, that's annoying. So it's kind of what? It's got to turn them on and off. Ah, damn. I wish you could get like a logic switch, you know, an and or switch. So either you can turn it on via a switch, or you can turn it on via the motion sensor. Not like having to like kind of like work your way through the weird logic systems that 7 Days to Die electricity has. So instead of that one, I'm gonna get rid of you, and straight from there all the way up to the motion sensor, and then from that down to the wonderful bloody hatch system we got down here. That's the way I want it to work. That's the way I'm hoping it will work. Because then when we eventually get, say, any sort of zombie out here, let's just go get ourselves a cheerleader. Just like, look, the thing sees it, it sees him, that's all fine. Oh, wait, it's not going to work because that's going to... Oh, I see. So it's on open, not on closed. Ah, damn it. There's got to be a way to fix that. We might have to figure out the wiring a little bit, but there's got to be a way to make that work for us. That's alright, I figured it out, and it's actually going to make the view a whole lot better. So if we put the hatches down on the ground like that, rather than up vertically like that, which I thought was the way it's supposed to do, I forgot that on opens, makes it open up like that, not on closes them. And I wish there was a way that you could like invert signals. Just like Minecraft, when you get a block of dirt and a redstone torch, you can invert that signal. I wish there was a way to invert on and off effects in 7 Days as well. The electricity still leaves a lot to be desired, but we'll work with what we got for now. So if I have that and I go up to you and I'll wire you down to that one, and then from you across to that one, see, look at that. Sees the zombie and the hatches close up, which is exactly what we want, because after all, we're here to combat screamers and stop the screamers from seeing us when they cruise up to cause some issues. So just like that. So as soon as the Chelsea shows up, the hatches will close, Chelsea dies, hatches open. Let's just double check that. Chelsea goes there. Yep, look at that. Nice and easy. It's like blast doors that automatically close when there's an enemy. Okay, so we just had to just had to change the way we put down the hatches. That's fine. At least now we know. Now we have to get rid of all of these ones and do it all over again. Made some additions to the turtle bunker, and now, look, I've got all the hatches in place. I've got it all wired up. Got a nice little, like, ledge to put the cameras on. Now, when you're putting cameras down, if you want it to look right, remember that the cameras stick on, like, the outside of the block. So you've got to use SCTR poles, which is, like, side center is the abbreviation for it, poles. So you can actually, like, stick them to something and make it look like it's actually part of the real-world physics. And then when you get in the way of the camera, those open. When you get out of the way, they close down again. They're all set to look at me right now, which because I haven't gone around and changed them yet, but that's the way it's going to work, which I think works pretty well. But there's one more thing I want to add to it, and that is a light. Let's turn off the dev tools so I can get the one that I actually need and not the POIs. So, I mean, I've got more lights than we used to, still don't have as many as I would like. Let's just go... let's go the industrial light, actually, because I quite like the industrial light. I'm going to put them on the inside in here, and you'll see why in just a little bit. I've got all these switches still on here that I don't need more. Get rid of all of those. I'm going to put the lights right... Are they... No, it's not even stuck to the wall. For goodness sake. This is the annoying thing. Trying to get the right part of the rotation that actually sticks to the wall is always just frustrating. Alright, right there. That'll do. Whatever. Doesn't matter to me as long as it's actually in the middle. Damn it, now it's upside down. Damn! There we go. So, you've got Chelsea's on either side out here, which means that those doors are nice and closed. You're nice and protected. But then you look inside, and now we've got some lights here to warn us that that's the side that the zombies are coming from, which I think is a nice little touch. I quite like it. However, looking at it, it's a little bit too bright, so I might even change those lights to be like the normal basic lights. I'd love it if I could get like the red light, but that's only for POIs, and like you can get mods and stuff to get them to work, but it's just a pain in the ass. I'd love it if that was a thing I could get just in vanilla. So I'm going to change out these lights to be the basic lights, because then, I mean, sure, I mean, you've got the blast doors up, you kind of know which side the zombies are on already, but just to get your attention, you know, if you're off doing something else, you're distracted by things, you're off busy making whatever you need to do, the next weapon, the next club, the next whatever, and then suddenly a light turns on, you go, oh, I know what that is. That's because there's a zombie outside that I need to go take care of. Just an extra little layer of warning. In fact, I might even get a speaker. Let's wire up a speaker too. Let's really make a racket. Zombies are coming in. Let's let everybody know. There we go. Camera's all set up. I've got my speakers on the inside. Let's give this a crack. Let's get a Chelsea all the way out here. Let's go like this. And we're going to turn her AI on and get her attention. Hey, come on. This way. There you go. Look, I'm in this bunker over here. Look at that. Look, the siren goes off. The light turns on. Shields go up. We know that Chelsea's just out there looking for a fight. That works absolutely perfectly. Shoot her. She dies. Bunker goes down. Siren turns off. Light turns off. Good. I mean, this is all just like extras on top. Like, the main thing here is that you're building a shield to stop yourself from screamers seeing you. But all the other extra stuff is that if this is on like the perimeter of your base, I'm just giving you guys ideas on how you can make it so that if a screamer does show up, you can alert yourself to that fact and go and take care of business as you might need to. But to best test this, let's go, is it spawn scouts? I think it is. Is that the one? Spawned this wave. Yes. Okay, you've spawned out there somewhere. The screamer is going to come in from somewhere else. Come to try and find me inside my little bunker. Where is she? Where is she? She'll be out there somewhere. We'll see if we can find her before she makes it to us. And then hopefully... there she is. So she's going to wander all the way over to my little turtle bunker over there. The camera should hopefully see her. Close down the shield so that she can't see me inside. And that'll give me a chance to go kill her before she screams in a horde. Oh, there it is. Yep, it's seen it. Yep, and we're closing all the doors. Very, very good. I've got... Oh, she's still calling the screamers, though. She still screamed at a horde. Did we get anyone else coming in? I don't see anyone. Okay, that's really annoying. You need to... I can't... There we go. Hit the shot. You need to shut up. Did anyone else come get invited? Did she scream in a party? I don't see anyone, so I don't think she did. She definitely made the scream, though. Ooh, we might have to test that again just to see how that worked. Maybe it was just a glitch in the system. I don't know. I don't know. But if I'm just chilling in there all by my lonesome, I don't want some screamer showing up and ruining my day. Here comes another screamer. Always coming on an angle, which is kind of annoying. I've adjusted the cameras to get some overlap there, so to keep it nice and safe. Are you gonna scream? I hope you're not gonna scream. But then, like, when that's going on, I'm like, oh shit, everything's going nuts. Let's get up here, up the ladder. Hey, how's it going, love? Wherever you are, boom, and sort her out. Now, did I kill you? I mean, in that little test run, did I kill you before something bad happened? Are there any zombies coming in? Because I think that one worked. I didn't hear the scream, and I shot her nice and easily. Anyone coming in? I'll stand here for a second and see. But that's the kind of general idea. You can probably do, actually, without the stupid bloody sirens. The sirens are annoying. We'll get rid of those, so I can't be bothered dealing with them right now. But, yeah, that would be nice and easy. If that was, you don't really use those sirens if they were further away than inside, like, a 5x5 bunker. If you had to go over and know where the zombies were coming from, that's when you use the alarm system. Not for something like this. But it doesn't look like any zombies actually got triggered. That worked really well. There we go. There's the evidence. The theory does work. If I had my time again, in fact, for later episodes, if I use the turtle bunker again, I'd probably place the cameras on the corners, because then one pole on the corner, or actually rather two poles, I suppose, because they go into center, can hold two cameras, and you can actually get some proper, like, 360-degree overlap of all the camera beams and keep yourself nice and safe. But with the proof of the concept done, that means I can move on to the next kind, which is to build something a little bit bigger than that. Because, I mean, look, that's fun, but that's an awful lot of hatches. There's probably a better way to do it, and by better way to do it, I'm thinking garage door better way to do it. So this was kind of the original idea. Before I got sidetracked making the turtle bunker, this was what I wanted to do, and that is use the powered garage doors as like proper like shutters to like close in and block out anything that was coming for you. However, the problem I'm coming across again is that on is open, so I can open them up when a screamer shows up, which is the exact opposite of what you want to do. But I can't make the doors work that when it's on, it closes, which is really bloody frustrating. Again, that like the lack of logic gates is really hindering the creative bases that I'm trying to make here, which is all very, very, very frustrating. Look at the loop-de-loop over there. I really wish I had it worked. I might revisit that another day with some. A lot of people were saying I should have tried with the mini bike because they thought it was the spikes in the front of the motorbike that was digging in and stopping it going around. That wasn't really the case. The bike was getting stuck like that. But I might revisit another time if I can figure out a way to maybe code something a bit better to get it to work for me. But that is a job for another day. So I don't know. I'll tinker with this for a second and see if I can figure out a way to get the garage doors to open, to turn on and close. I also don't have like any sort of advanced rotation properties for the garage doors again. There is no option for me to like put them flat or put them anywhere else. The fun pimps have hindered that as well, which is kind of frustrating, but I mean, it kind of makes sense as garage doors. That's where the garage doors are supposed to work, but at least let me like use electricity the way the electricity actually works. So I'll wire some things up. I'll see how we go, but after my experiments with the turtle bunker, I'm starting to think that maybe the hatches are the only way that this will actually work. The only way to get anti-zombie shutters is to use the powered hatches and not anything else, which is a shame because that looks so freaking cool like that. I love it like that. See, look at this. Look how perfect this could have been. If you had this option available to you, you could make your bases way more open, way more airy, way more lovely. You could get that nice sunshine coming in, a nice breeze to waft out all that funky smell. Because look, as a formerly teenage boy, we all know that if you live yourself and cram yourself into a small dark room for too long, it starts to smell absolutely abhorrent. So having some sort of breeze come through and air that all out would be lovely, but I can't get that to work and then automatically close it all down. I can't get it because look how fast those shutters close too. It closes in an instant, and that's what I want, you know. A zombie cruises up and your base, because now it's apparently a smart base, sees it and goes, oh shit, we need to lower the walls, alert the inhabitant that there's something outside, and so that they can go out and they can sort it out for you. Give yourself some like movable walls, because that would be absolutely lovely. I'd much rather have a base like this where you can enjoy everything rather than living in a little cavern somewhere. But I don't think I can get it to work. The only, like, you can kind of link different sensors and stuff together to turn things on. You can't link things together to then switch something to off. So you can link together a bunch of motion sensors and have one of them turn everything on, but you can't get one of them to turn something off. And that's a big shame. It's a real big shame. I was like, this is the original idea that I had for it. This is what I wanted to do because they look so freaking cool. But I just don't think it's going to be an option until someone decides to code in some logic gates. So we might have to put this idea into the vault and like save it for another day. The total base will work. You could use the hatches. That will work just fine. But the garage doors, the one I really wanted to work, doesn't seem to be an option for us today. And that sucks. Anyway, guys, that is going to have to do it. I'm going to have to leave it there. We tried out a couple of different ideas. I mean, look, the doors don't work anymore. The garage doors don't work at all because you can't get that rotation until we get some logic switches going. So the only way to make an automatic anti-screamer shutter system for your windows is to use the hatches, which kind kind of sucks. I was really hoping for it to work another way, but that is the only way we can do it. But that's why we have JaWoodle Park, so that we can go in and test some things and see what the best option is going to be. The turtle base will make an appearance again. I've got some ideas. I mean, I just made it by accident just then, but I've already got some ideas going in my head about what I can do with that. So you will see the turtle base again, maybe in a more refined, streamlined version of it. But I'll have to go and mess around with the turtle base in another episode, because this episode is done. So thank you guys for watching. Most of all, thank you to all the patrons of Patreon who made this episode possible. If y'all liked it, make sure to like button down below and subscribe to this channel. Follow me on Twitter. If I don't talk to you there first, I'll see you in the next episode. Have a good one.